Hey, yo, what up, y'all? Tight Shirt Terry back in the building. Hope you're having a good day so far. If this is your first time here, yo, a fat welcome to you. And if you're part of the family, you came back, welcome back, yo. Come give me a hug, break it in, give me a fist bump or something like that. Yo, we just hit 20K in the fam and the squad. I'm so thankful for y'all. Thank you so much. Now, in this video today, I'm going to show you my favorite, I think, 10 or it's 11 drone moves that I like to use to take my drone videos or my drone footage to the next level. Now, in this video, I'm gonna use the Air 2S because obviously it's the newest drone I got, which, by the way, big thank you to my folks over at DroneWorks. If y'all are looking for a drone purchase, whether it's DJI, Autel, whatever, they have everything in stock. I am part of the DroneWorks family, so if y'all rock with my content, y'all like me, do me a favor and do all of your shopping through DroneWorks. Hit up DroneWorks for your drone needs. Tell them Terry Warfield sent you. Now, I guess let's just go ahead and get into it. So my first tip to make your videos more quote unquote cinematic. I know some of y'all hate that word, but this is what we're doing. We're making cinematic style things with our drones. The first shot is I don't even know what to call this, right? You put the drone in the air and you have somebody enter the scene. And this creates a real sense of mystery for me, at least, because it makes you look directly at that person and it makes you wonder, like, what are they doing? So it's easy. You put the drone up, you have the person enter from behind or side. That sounded horrible, but you get what I'm saying. But you have them come into the scene and you also have them leave out the scene. So it's a super easy shot to do. It's really nothing required except for you to put the freaking drone up and let somebody walk in, or object, whether it's a car, person, animal, whatever. Walk in the scene, leave out the scene. Let's go to number two. Number two is the low flying ground shot. Now, this is especially powerful with the Air 2S because the field of view is 22 millimeters, so it's super wide, yo. So I want to caution y'all real quick to be careful with this. Make sure your obstacle avoidance is turned on, because if you don't, you got to remember elevation changes, and the drones, they don't fly in a perfect straight line. So if the elevation is changing and the drone just happens to be descending, even if it's just 1 or 2 degrees, you can look at some nasty crashes if you're not careful. So make sure that your obstacle avoidance is turned on for these shots unless you are an experienced pilot. Now, like I said, with the Air 2S, because the field of view is so wide, flying low to the ground or in between objects, it makes it feel like it's going super, super fast, way faster than it actually is. So this is a super easy shot that you can use if you want to create some action in your shot or anything like that. Fly low to the ground. You don't even have to go super fast. You can speed it up in post if you need to, but it's a super easy shot to pull off. Now, let's move on to number three. Now, number three, you want to use this to set the stage to something, right? So if you have something in the way, such as like a building or a hill, and you want to reveal what's behind it, this is the reveal shot. So what you do is you put the drone behind the obstacle, so whatever it may be, and all you do is ascend up over said object, whether it's a building, a hill, or anything like that, to reveal the grand landscape or whatever it is behind. I use this shot a lot to reveal the scene or to set the stage for something. Super easy to use. Now, also with this shot, you can make it a little bit more dynamic, right? If you want to add some sauce in there, all you gotta do is pitch the gimbal downward while you're going upward, and it creates almost like a parallax type vibe. So super easy to do. Fly up, pitch the gimbal downward. Hey, butter smooth shot. Now, before we move on to the next tip, if y'all like this video so far, do me a favor and drop a like on it. Y'all don't know how important that thumbs up really is. And if you're not part of the squad, now would be a good time to join the squad. Hit the subscribe button and turn the notification bell on so that you get notified when Terry drops new videos. And let's go ahead and change the song in 3, 2, 1. Bang! Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. That's some epidemic sound if you want to try it out for 30 days. Link is in the description. No credit cards, none of that stuff. Copyright free music. Let's move on to the next tip. Now, again, this is another shot that you can use, and that is the top down shot. So all you do is you fly way up in the air, make sure that you follow your local guidelines and FAA regulations, and you pitch the gimbal all the way down so that you're looking directly down and you're way up in the air. And if you want to, you can fly forwards, you can fly backwards, sideways, whatever, but it really gives a sense of vastness and makes the viewer wonder, like, what is going on down there? And then you can use that as like an establishing shot, like I said, to then move into closer shots or go right into the action that's going on the ground. Now, the next tip is the orbit shot. Now, this shot is super easy with any DJI drone that has the POI feature. So all you do is you go into the Fly app and you take your finger, you draw a box around whatever it is that you want to orbit. So if it's a building, a castle, whatever, and the drone will do the work for you. Now, the good thing about this is you get to control the speed. If you want to, while the drone is orbiting, you can control how high it is or how low it goes, or you can do it mid-orbit to give like that spiraling look. You can also go closer or further away from the point of interest. So this is a super dope shot that you see in Hollywood movies. And don't forget, with the Air 2S, you can actually punch in if you're using 4K to give you some more of that like parallax type shots. So super dope, easy to use. The drone will do basically everything for you. Now the next shot is the crane jib shot. Again, super easy to do if you got an Air 2S or any other DJI drone with the spotlight feature. So only thing you got to do is select it on the screen and select spotlight and then fly upwards or downward, and it'll keep whatever you just highlighted in the center. So it'll give you easy crane jib shots. Super easy to do with any DJI drone with the spotlight feature. Now the next one, you gotta have a DJI drone that has FPV mode built into it. Now we know the Mavic series and the Air 2S, these are not FPV drones, but they do have a special setting in the menu that you can use to change the gimbal behavior. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. So typically with your Mavic Air or whatever, when you fly, the gimbal stays straight. So no matter what the gimbal does, this stays straight. I'm gonna put it in this camera so y'all can see it. No matter what the gimbal does, this stays straight. When you put it in FPV mode, then the gimbal will move with the drone. So the only problem with FPV mode is it is super finicky. If you move the joystick just a little bit, the drone will pitch a lot. So you have to be very careful and very, very slow and deliberate. But if you pull it off, you can get some real nice banking shots that look like it's actually an aircraft and not a drone flying. I love using these shots. They really blend well with the regular, typical drone shots. Just to give a different perspective, I definitely think you should try these shots out because you will love them once you pull it off right. Okay, now the next shot, you gotta have some balls of steel to do because it involves you turning on sport mode and flying through objects. That's whether you're going forward or backwards. If you're not comfortable with flying real fast, don't forget that you can speed up your footage in post. The only caveat is if you got anything that's directional, such as like a person walking or a car moving or something like that, if you reverse that, then don't forget that those people or cars are automatically gonna go in reverse too. So just keep that in mind. As long as you don't have that, then there's nothing wrong with just flying straight through an object and then reversing it in post. However, like I said, with this one, you will have to turn on sport mode, and you do need to be careful because in sport mode, it's not seeing anything or avoiding anything. So you can definitely crash your drone real easy. However, if you can pull this off, Sam Coder likes to use these a lot to like mask into other scenes and things like that. It definitely can create some depth to your shot. So you can also add the sound effects when you're passing by the object, you know, the whoosh sound effect to actually give it like some audio depth, if that makes sense. But yeah, be careful with this shot because if you crash your damn drone, it is not my fault. Now the next shot is the forward or backwards reveal shot. I love using this. As a matter of fact, this is one of my favorite shots I've taken with the Air 2S yet. All you got to do is fly forward, but before you start, you need to pitch the gimbal all the way down. Once you start flying forward, then you slowly raise the gimbal using the thumb wheel on the back of the controller to uncover whatever it is that you want to show off. So in this case, I used it to fly into the water and reveal the sunset. Now, you might have to do this a few times to get the timing right, but if you can pull it off, it's super dope. You can also do this flying backwards, or again, you could just reverse it in post, but this is a great shot to use, especially if you're flying low to reveal something. Now, the next tip is not a move, but it's just something that I wanted to give to you. Always try to add like depth into your shot. So if that means flying past something, if you can create the illusion that the drone is flying through something or past something, whether it be over a ridge, whether it be over the top of a building or past the building, it makes the shot way more dope and way more appealing. Now, the last shot that I'm gonna show you is what I call the dive bomb. And this one is a little more complex, so you might need to practice a little bit. So basically, the drone flies forward and you lower the drone while you're still flying forward, and the drone will, instead of dropping like this, it'll kind of dive in. Now, to make this even more dope is while you're diving downwards, if you pitch the gimbal upward, it makes the shot, it make it look like you flying into something, which is super dope. Now, again, you might need to practice this shot. It takes me 4 or 5 times to pull it off. If you can pull this off, it creates some super, like almost roller coaster type vibes that I really love to use in my shots. The last tip I want to give y'all also, if you want your footage to look as good as possible, lock your exposure before you start filming. Nothing makes your footage look more like amateurish than your exposure changing mid-shot. So if you can help it, lock the exposure, or at least even if you don't lock the exposure, cut out the parts of the video where like the ISO might be changing or the shutter speed might be changing. Just those little small things will make your video look way more cinematic and professional if you can get rid of that stuff. So anyways, I hope that these tips were helpful to you. I use these tips in all of my videos that I use my drone for. Super easy to do, especially if you got the Air 2S or any new DJI drone or Autel drone. They give you all of this stuff built into it. I think Skydio gives you a lot of it also. But use these tips to make your videos look way better than that amateur junk that you see a lot of people putting out. Use these tips and I hope that they were helpful. If y'all got any questions or anything like that, I'm always in the comments kicking it and talking back and forth. I appreciate y'all so much. So till next time, we about to get out of here. Peace and chicken grease, Terry Warfield. Peace.